So today is one of those days where you are really looking at a very, very simple bar that has a ton of work that goes into it in the back end, much like you would expect with like a shampoo bar or, sensitive skin bars and stuff like that. And so this one is very simple design, but packed with so much awesome that I just can't even. So before I tell you what soap I'm making today, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And today we are making these soapy, simple looking things, which I really love. I mean, obviously I enjoy like the actual like process and the design elements and stuff like that. That's fun for me. But ultimately, when I can just focus on ensuring that the bar itself is unbelievably extraordinary and then not have to turn it into something super gorgeous as well, I'm all for it. And so that's what we're doing today. Actually, this is a request from a Sudzer who had commented a couple months ago on one of the videos and asked if I'd ever thought about doing an activated charcoal and lemongrass soap. And I told them that, yeah, I've done that. It's actually delightful. I use babassu and, all of the things. And then realized that I hadn't had one in the line in quite some time. And then this got paired with a secondary problem of also realizing around the same time that I also had not put a pine tar soap in the line in quite some time. And a couple days ago, we put a new pine tar soap in the line, right? So we have that with the Casablanca from the Rat Pack series. But I wanted to have a standalone bar doing it the way that I normally do a pine tar soap, which is with activated charcoal. And this one is scented with lemongrass as well as a little bit of green tea, because that was another suggestion by a Sudzer. And I thought that was a good idea to kind of make that combination, because I love lemongrass on its own. I love green tea on its own. Together, we're going to go with slam dunk. So we're going to go watch the pouring of this bar, and I'm going to explain to you the oils and the things that I do, why pine tar is cool, why activated charcoal paired with pine tar is cool, and we're going to do the things. Okay, so this video might be confusing AF, right? Because what I'm using right there is a pine resin, pine sap. It's resin because it's hardened. Pine sap is its all thing. And I'm also using activated charcoal. This is aloe vera that's going into the lye solution. So I drop the pine resin, directly into the pot, put the liquid, in this case aloe vera, and then put the lye on top of it and let that melt down the pine resin. Now, that does not make this a pine tar soap, but because I am using activated charcoal, it all becomes very confusing in my brain. And so I might end up saying pine tar a couple times in this this video. We'll really see, I guess. I did it this way once just to see if I could, and well, I mean, I guess you're gonna find out in the whole thing as to whether or not I can, really. So we'll keep watching. And yeah, so this is another thing that we're doing a little bit different today. The activated charcoal is going directly into the oils, the unsaponified oils. Nothing else is in there right now, just the oil blend. The oil blend itself for this is, the only solid oil in this is babassu, and the liquid oils are karanja and olive. And I love this blend so very much. Babassu, whenever I'm doing a plum-free bar, babassu is always my go-to. It's a very cool oil, produces a very, very hard bar soap, but the lather is super great, like close to, what a coconut oil does, which is cool. And then the olive oil, great for the gentle cleanse and the moisturizing properties. And then the Karanja, it's just amazing across the board because it's great for bug bites, it's an insect repellent, it's really good for, you know, itchiness and dry skin. And of course you have that, you know, going on with the aloe vera as well, helping out with all of those skin conditions. So across the board, it's a cool blend for sure. Okay, so I strained the solution, right? And the thing, right? That was the pine sap rosin. It loses a lot of volume, right? Because it's melting down within the heat of the lye solution there. It's melting down. I didn't show you, but I mean, look how weird that looks there with the pine tar and the aloe vera and everything before I start, you know, doing the emulsifying, really. I'm just kind of mad at myself. Like, that's cool to watch or whatever, but why didn't I show you more of the pine rosin thingy? Whatever. I suck, guys. So, yeah, right. That's that was the pine tar that you got to see for half a second. Cool. And yeah, so I found that when you put the oils directly into, or the colors directly into the pot, like this, especially with activated charcoal, it can be harder to find trace because the activated charcoal is sort of grainy anyway. And so if you're looking for graininess to decide whether or not you've hit emulsification, you can get false trace or whatever. And or you can overmix your batter. So I usually, instead of just doing the stick test, I like to pull some up the sides there to really make sure that that solution is at a good emulsion and, you know, it's stable before moving on. Now, this is the lemongrass and green tea that's going into that. Now, really, I could have put this in the actual, you know, oils with activated charcoal without any problems, right? And the thing is, for me, with lemongrass, I have found that it accelerates trace like a mother, and I'm not really into that. And also, it's just an old soaper habit. Like, for me personally, I always put the scent in very last. So that's the last thing that I put in the pot, no matter what. And so that's just, you know, I don't have to do it that way. You can definitely put your essential oils in along with your, you know, fatty acid, you know, profile oils and everything, and it will be just fine. Especially for something like this, that's a very simple pour. There's not a lot going on with it, and it would be great. But it's a habits die hard, really. Let's go to the pour. Okay, and while we are doing the pour, I am going to talk about the benefits of a pine tar soap in general, and the, you know, kind of history and all that jazz to a pine tar soap, and specifically to, you know, also with the addition of the activated charcoal, like a coal tar soap. Historically, I mean, it's been around forever. Like, soapers have done this for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? And it's typically used to, you know, treat, you know, things like itching and scaliness and dryness of the skin, and, you know, the proper, real, potent coal tar soap. It's, you know, actually used by doctors to, you know, treat psoriasis and eczema and shit like that. And that's awesome. But that's kind of a different formulation, and that requires sort of like getting actual, like, it's a medicinal thing. But this is effective in doing the, you know, anti-itch and all of the stuff, you know, too. Pine tar is it's a very interesting thing. It's a little bit of a hot button thing in the soap making world, because for a long time it was definitely popular doing the things and whatever, and then for a while there was this big debate about it being like a carcinogen, and basically it has been decided that, you know, it is not, and it does not contribute to any cancer causing anything or whatever. But I know a lot of soapers who still won't touch it because of that, and, you know, that those studies have been done for, you know, the last decade or so. Well, 10 years ago the final ruling was on it. And so, but you know how it works in the medical world, really, it could change on a dime, which honestly is another reason why I do the pine sap, the resin, instead of doing like proper pine tar, because it is a little bit of a hot button and you can get cool stuff from the activated charcoal. Okay, and on to the cut, and my god, the activated charcoal makes that thing look so beautiful. Look at that, that is just stunning. It's all shiny, it clearly went through gel, everything about it is just amazing. And yeah, the inclusion of the activated charcoal into this is going to be to help out with the pore purging and, you know, the slight exfoliation and all that jazz. And then you combine it with the aloe, and it's such a delightful bar of soap. Like, everything about it is just excellent. Now, I had made this, or a version of this, over the summer when I had these just crazy bug bites that were swelling up. Like, my skin was so swollen on my hand that I was concerned that I wasn't going to, that it was going to like crack and explode. It was crazy. And so I made some more pine tar soap to kind of get us through the summer, because I noticed the kids were having some issues with it too. Like, I have no idea, we've got some monster mosquitoes or something. And I made this soap, and you know, it kept everything at bay, which was good. And the Karanja oil in that actually helps too, because it's sort of a debugger. The bugs don't like it, so that's fun. But yeah, the whole combination of all of this here with this bar, again, such a simple pour and such a lovely, you know, but it's just stunning across the board because of, you know, it's sometimes there's real beauty in the simplicity, and that's definitely true with this one. But you know, the heavy lifting comes in the formulation of the soaps themselves, because again, they're benefits of pine tar for sure, but the actual making of, you know, proper pine tar soap or whatever, that's all, you know, regulated by the medical world or whatever. And a lot of that does actually include putting in different sort of detergents and other things in the soap itself, which I obviously don't do. So this was sort of my way to kind of mimic the awesomeness of a soap like that without, you know, actually having to, whatever. And so I love this blend together, but there was definitely a lot of fiddling and deciding what was more important, and is the aloe necessary, and all of the things. And I ultimately went with, yeah, it's all necessary, because this is definitely a heavy hitter as far as amazing soaps go. And that's one of the reasons why I make it such a simple bar, because I want all of the activated charcoal in there. I don't want it just for a form, I want it for function as well. And then, you know, all the cool stuff that goes into it. I put a lot of heavy lifting in the front end, or the back end, whatever, in the recipe formulation. And so you get a very simple looking bar kind of as a result. But you know, and that is that. Day 175, the pine sap coal soap. Yeah. And that is that, my friends. That's pretty simple, right? There's not a lot that goes into the actual making of this soap. And as I said, I love that. All the heavy lifting was definitely done in the formulation of the soap, and I do the heavy lifting for all of my bars. I treat them all as if I want them to be excellent bars of soap. So again, the times when I don't have to turn them into something extraordinarily beautiful, and they can just stand in their own simplistic beauty, I am here for that. And so yeah, that's it. And if you are interested in purchasing this pine tar activated charcoal lemongrass green tea soap thing, you can totally find it on the website at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in more soapy things, or you have an idea for soapy things, drop a comment, let me know. I would love to make a bar for you, or because you want to see it done, or whatever. And yeah, so to know that I did that, you could subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you being subscribed. That really means a lot to me in really big epic ways. And for me, for today, I am all done. So thank you so much for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye.